Welcome to the second guide for Telos Realms. If you haven't watched the first guide video which explains the basics of the game, I'd watch that first. Loot and UTs. When you start a character, you're given a full set of tier 1 gear. This of course being your bog standard helmet, chestplate, leggings and boots. Tiered items are very basic. The current highest tier is 11 and the only difference between tiers is simple things such as damage and defense increases. You are able to tell what dungeons drop what tiers of armors by checking the /wiki command and then clicking on the dungeon and bosses. As talked about previously, there are 3 different armor types and 6 different weapon types. You'll notice when you defeat an enemy, it will drop a bag that you can open by left clicking it. The bag type will determine what loot it will contain. Here are the different bag types and their priorities. Here is where it gets very interesting. The exciting loot comes from the selection of untiered items, or UT items. Untiered means that the item doesn't follow the conventional scheme of tiered items, such as gaining an extra point of damage. It does its own thing, and all untiered items are unique in their own way. For example, check out the Scepter of Gloom. Tiered scepters all shoot a basic ray, each tier doing more damage than the previous. The UT Scepter of Gloom, however, does something completely different. It shoots shots around the targets that then home in for massive damage. Generally, UTs will outperform their tiered counterparts depending on where you get them from. There are 3 types of untiered items. There's Irradiated, which is around the strength of a tier 8 item, Royal, which is around the strength of a tier 11 item, and Bloodshot, which usually far exceeds the strength of a tier 11 item. Once again, use the wiki to figure out what items you want to grind and start defeating bosses to get the best gear you want to help you on your journey. When you get a special UT bag, whether it be green, white or black, you will also get some fragments. These fragments can be used to further upgrade UTs. Irradiated bags will drop irradiated fragments, royal bags will drop royal fragments, etc, etc. You will need 5 fragments and a UT to upgrade it, so generally you will need about 2 UT bags worth of the same type to have enough fragments to exalt 1 UT. Trust me, it's a lot more simple than I'm making it out to be. To upgrade your UT, head over to the crafting stations in the Nexus. Place the item that you wish to upgrade as well as the forge fragments, and then there you have it. This sword is now even better than it was before and has even more tier points. An exalted red UT is equivalent to around a tier 14 item, even though that does not exist at all. It does just make it extremely overpowered. A great thing to note is that you can actually melt UTs into fragments if you do not need them. If you are playing on a softcore character or an Iron Man character and cannot engage with the economy or the auction house, or just simply don't want to use the item that you've looted, you can go to the respective crafting station and put that UT into the first slot and melt it into fragments, making those items that you really didn't want to get a little bit less frustrating to obtain. If you have more questions, then leave them in the comments or in the Discord at discord.gg/telosmc.